Since the dawn of time, Pinterest has been every artist's #1 choice when searching for things to draw or just casually building a reference board for an OC you're trying to create. But in the new age of the internet, Pinterest has somehow become absolutely hated by every single artist in the art community.
Is it just me, or is Pinterest ads just way more in your face?
Pinterest quality has been declining significantly.
I'm not a Pinterest hater, but the ads have to stop.
Pinterest just changed this and it's so annoying.
How did this all happen? Well, it all started when Pinterest released an update where they changed the user interface so things like your sections, pins, and boards are more accessible, which they already were, and literally no one was complaining about that in the first place. And when people logged back into their accounts after the unprovoked and likewise crucially unnecessary updates, they started to notice a few unnecessary changes that could potentially become a pain in the ass rather sooner than later. Users started complaining about seeing less and less results when searching for images to use for inspiration, and the algorithm shoving down images that are literally the exact same version of an image you just pinned with little to no changes, which ideally shouldn't even be a problem, because if I'm on Pinterest and I save an image or pin it to a board, I'm expecting the algorithm to show me similar images with pretty much the same aesthetic, but also leave room to other images to show up on my feed, which could also end up being inspiring. Isn't that how an algorithm is supposed to work generally? Users also complained about not being able to filter the search bar to search by just pins only, but instead has the option for searching for boards, user profiles, and whatnot. Lucky for me, I didn't really find this a jarring problem because I wasn't searching for something in particular, and mostly I'm just looking for images I can use as reference to draw from when I'm studying, or bits and pieces of poses and clothing or random items I can draw on my character when I'm trying to make an OC. They apparently also combined regular pins and idea pins in one place and made it so when you're trying to upload a pin, it repeatedly fails, saying the pin is too big and not allowing you to upload it entirely. And a personal gripe I have, and I'm sure others have as well, is why can't I just click on the Pinterest icon at the top left corner and it takes me to the home page without having to go through the drop down menu with other options for something that could be done in one? I mean, I know you could do it. That was how it worked before you decided to change it. So why don't you just, I don't know, put it back to the way it was before maybe? Other Pinterest users have also complained about some of these slightly inconvenient issues, but the problem that I've seen, which is absolutely ruining the experience for every single person using Pinterest, from the elite down to the peasants like you and I, unfortunately, are the ads. Every single time I scroll through Pinterest, I am bombarded with ads on every single page across my feed, line after line. There's always an ad just waiting there amongst the rest of the images, patiently hoping for me to click it when we clearly both know I am not clicking that at all, because it literally says sponsored at the bottom, and I'm far from interested in that. Where it even becomes more annoying is not only are we being spoon-fed with ad after ad, most of the ads are completely irrelevant to whatever it is I searched for, and they have nothing to do with the content on my homepage. So why am I even seeing them in the first place? Make it make sense. Like, give me a valid reason why I'm seeing an ad for dishwashing soap when I search for reference for drawing a stormtrooper playing soccer. What do those things have in common? Why am I seeing an ad for Tylenol when I'm practicing drawing feet? Make it make sense. Shopify ads and ads for eBay and other e-commerce websites have overrun the platform and sometimes show up in places where you wouldn't expect them to be, but then again you keep on seeing the same set of ads repeated over and over in your homepage, and they end up taking the same space as a normal pin. The amount of times I found myself clicking an ad and being sent off to another page just because I thought the ad was somehow part of the images I searched from is literally crazy. But what's more exciting about this is other people have the same problem as me as well.
Pinterest is becoming unusable, and I just need to talk about it. I love Pinterest. I have used it for as long as I can remember. I scroll through it almost every day. Everything from the way my house is decorated, to the clothes I wear, to the makeup I do, to the hairstyles I do, is inspired by what I find on Pinterest, but it is literally becoming impossible to use. Everything is either an ad or now an AI image, and it is driving me insane. Let me show you what I mean. This is just a short little clip of me scrolling through my main feed, and almost every other post is an ad. This is me just searching garden, and almost everything is AI generated. Like, what is that cat? I keep scrolling, and like, you literally click on anything, and it's like, this is so obviously AI, and it's so frustrating. I want actual images. Like, those wood beams are curved, the picture doesn't make sense. If you wanted to search cottage and see real pictures of actual houses, good luck, because literally everything is just AI generated and fake, or an ad like those puzzle ads, and it is exhausting.
A couple years ago, I always saw posts about how Pinterest was the last quiet or peaceful social media with no crazy videos or ads, and now it's just another ad-riddled AI hellscape. I've been with them since the beginning. Now when I search bar carts in dining room, all I get are actually bar carts from Wayfair to buy. There's no more decor tips. I've been with Pinterest since it was in beta mode, and it was my absolute favorite for so long. It's completely unusable now. I don't think I've added a new pin in 2 years. It's so sad. As a visual creature, Pinterest dying is like a real death for me. I can no longer use Pinterest because it's all ads and it's so frustrating. Similar comments like these are all you can find on every single one of these TikTok videos complaining about just how completely unusable Pinterest has become. Every single person is sharing their heartfelt messages about how Pinterest used to be the one and only source of visual inspiration to stimulate their brains and ignite that tiny little spark of creativity. But now it has sadly become a mush of sponsored ads and generated images, leaving you completely clueless as to which image is real and which one isn't. I used to be addicted and will save 20 plus pins a day. Now I save a pin every 3 months, or if I have a very specific board idea. And if you search anything, it's just products and not inspiration. I used to spend entire days scrolling through Pinterest searching for the perfect reference photo with dynamic lighting so I could pin them to each of my different boards when I had to draw a character. But now I barely even check the app on my phone or my computer, and I find myself drawing mostly from images on Instagram and Twitter. It's so sad. What has Pinterest turned to? I saw a LinkedIn post from the CEO saying Pinterest is more shoppable than ever, and that brands are noticing Pinterest is the first place consumers are looking for inspo and shopping. But no one is shopping. Well, no shit, Sherlock. I'm obviously on Pinterest looking for images to be inspired by or build an aesthetic, if you will. And I'm not trying to buy something off of a sponsored post. Other people are also trying to save money by not buying products and are looking for cheaper alternatives that still look aesthetic without having to break the bank. As an artist that uses Pinterest for references, it hurts so much when I come across so much AI because it was usually always just actual artists. AI generated images as well as drawings have become the new essential commodity on Pinterest. Some Pinterest users and artists as well have expressed their utmost concern for the overwhelming amount of AI images that are being shown to them in their feed or among their pins. While these images could seemingly prove harmless to the common eye, they have grown to become a giant thorn in the butt of artists who are just looking for other artists to inspire them or unique art styles they could learn from and use as reference when trying to build their visual library. Art buddy of mine and everyone's favorite artist Sam Does Art Yang made an interesting video where he took his time to scroll through his Pinterest feed, showing us his timeline almost completely covered with AI images. In the video, he went through some key points about this AI plague on Pinterest and how artists could go about tackling this new obstacle in their art journey.
Pinterest quality has been declining significantly, and it's all thanks to AI. First, let me just see if I can show you guys an example. So from the perspective of an artist searching for inspiration, I'm gonna look up something like art style semi-realistic. And I'm seeing some great pieces from artists that I actually recognize, like Ilya Kushinov over here. So at first glance, this seems like a pretty solid result. You know, I can actually get some inspiration here, but oh, my sweet innocent child, just you wait. We're gonna scroll down here just a little bit, and Oh my goodness, look at this. What a cool piece. I'm gonna just click on this. Now this piece to me looks a lot like an AI piece, especially with some of these artifacts in the mouth. You know, some of these random elements here that don't really match up with the hair on the other side. You could zoom in and also make a case for the collar looking a little bit weird, but hey, this could also just be someone's artwork.
At this point, most artists who are experienced can probably tell if an image was made by an actual artist or if it was an AI image. Aside from most of the details not making sense if you justify them with other elements in the drawing, the images end up looking somehow rushed and lack that careful carelessness of a drawing made by an actual person.
Let's say I want to look for some more artwork in this similar style. Okay, now look at the absolute slop that becomes my feed. None of these are made by humans. I mean, we can just continue scrolling here and it's just non-stop AI slop.
This is a huge problem because the more you keep scrolling and unintentionally adding AI generated images to your boards, the algorithm just keeps feeding you images that are similar to those ones, and the unending cycle continues till you end up with your entire For You page filled with only AI art.
You'd be lucky to find one piece like this that was actually made by a human artist. And for me, I can kind of tell that this was made by a human because there are some marks here that look very intentional. I can see where the hand might have followed the stroke of the pen here to create this image. But honestly, sometimes I have trouble discerning between AI and human-made art too. So imagine if you were a new artist and you were just starting out. How in the world would you realize something like this?
The answer to that is it's impossible. At this point, there's just no way a total beginner will be able to tell the difference, especially when the images look like this. They're actually really convincing now, and it's scary. Like, this looks like something Alvin Lee or Ilya Kushinov would have drawn, or even you, Sam. This is all partly your fault. Why do you have to be this good?
And the fact that it's getting so good, you know, some of these lines are very convincing. A beginner is going to look at this and think, wow, that's incredible. Someone actually drew this, when in reality, nobody really did. This was just stolen from someone else. Then if you continue scrolling down, again, the whole feed just turns into what? It seems to me like 90% of this feed is AI now. And I'm trying to search for semi-realistic art styles. Now, let me just show you guys something else, okay? What if we want to look for images, okay? I want to study anatomy, muscle anatomy, or muscle mommy. Holy Christ.
I can see you have fine taste, my friend. I'm not judging you, brother. I happen to share the same acquired taste for structurally developed female specimens myself as well.
We're looking for muscles. Now, right away, these images that pop up in the front two rows, for the most part, they look pretty good. You know, they seem like real people. But as soon as you start scrolling down, oh, look what happens. Look at this guy. Hot. Except this man is not real. Look at his thumb, okay? This is AI slop. And his nipples are looking at me in a way that I do not appreciate. So that's not real, okay? If you want to study anatomy and you base it off of this, well, you're going to get the abs all wrong because I don't know what is going on here. Now, why don't we just scroll down and see if we can find something else, something a little bit more reliable. Maybe this one. But once again, this is AI. Again, look at the slop. Look at this belt buckle. It doesn't make any sense. The thumbs don't make any sense. Look at the striations in his deltoids, okay? They do not connect that way. These are your delts. These are your biceps. Your biceps are going to sit in front of your delts, and there's going to be a valley between your delts and your biceps. They do not connect. Now turn your attention back to this slop, okay? Look at this delt. It goes right into the bicep. It connects directly to the bicep. What kind of anatomy is this?
I tried scrolling down my own feed, but I didn't find any images that were AI generated when I searched for anatomy references. I did see some images that clearly looked suspicious in some places, but nothing really freaky that stood out as generated imagery. I'm thinking this is possibly because the algorithm is basing its search off of the previous images that I've liked and added to my boards, which is why there are some 3D models and Greek looking sculpture, but nothing really screamed AI the farther I scrolled. Now, I know some people are definitely going to have a different experience scrolling through their own feed, especially because from what it looks like, the generated images mostly pop up when looking through art or looking for art styles. If I search for Sam Does Art's art style, for example, it shows me mostly Sam's art, but with some exceptions. As you can see, this is clearly not Sam's drawing. It looks like his art style, but is just generated imagery. You can see from the details just how horrible it is at replicating Sam's art style. The details look incredibly wrong and out of place. The eyes are just awful. Everything just feels wrong. And when we scroll down, we can see other images all seemingly generated in the same art style and all equally looking plastic and horrible. You can clearly tell these images have no life to them. They look extremely rigid and don't have the same flair and carefree, confident strokes you'll find in Sam's actual paintings. Sam also mentioned in his video that he spoke to other artists who seemed to have the same problem and said their printer's feed was sadly overrun with AI as well.
So I got interested in this topic because number one, I've been noticing it. I've been seeing artworks on my feed. I always end up clicking on them and then I realize it was AI. There was no artist behind it that I could have followed. I got excited for no reason and my day is now ruined. But not only that, I've also talked to a lot of artists on my Patreon servers and they've expressed the exact same issues. The most common thing that happens is people find a cool piece of reference or a piece of art and then they realize is not real.
He also discussed some theories from Reddit which could possibly be the cause of this underlying issue with how AI art has now become rampant on Pinterest. And while most artists were getting fed up and talked about quitting Pinterest and were looking for other alternatives, most of them haven't been lucky finding a platform that just felt special like how Pinterest was. Sam's video is really good, so if you haven't seen it, go watch it as well. Viora, who's one of my favorite art YouTubers at the moment, also made a video an eternity ago complaining about similar problems everyone is complaining about right now, which makes the entire situation so sad because since the time she published her video till now, some of these problems have not been addressed at all. Isn't that a shame? I feel like the devs at Pinterest need to get a round table, call up a meeting with everyone and just knock their heads together. Maybe that way it might get their wheels spinning again. If that doesn't work, then I don't know, put them in rice maybe. Viora then goes on to explain how to differentiate AI art from real art on Pinterest, especially for beginner artists who can't tell the difference if they stumble on an AI generated image for the first time.
AI Pinterest art style. If you know, you know. If you don't, I'll give you a quick 10-second rundown. It's the clean looking, thin line art, deeply rendered, distinguishable yet indistinguishable background of scribbles, questionable hands, can't forget about that, intense lighting yet with a matte feel, and a one character focal point image. Of course, just because someone's art possesses all these qualities does not make it AI art, and vice versa. Not all AI art has these qualities, but these are the features that are predominantly present in the type of AI art that is so rampant on Pinterest.
Another problem I've seen artists complain about is the sheer amount of repost art accounts on Pinterest that somehow forget to leave the name of the artist in the caption or at least give some type of credit to the artist one way or another. Viora also talked about this in her video, expressing how troubling it is just searching for the artist on Pinterest.
Lack of ownership and just credit to the original artist in general. With Pinterest, oh god, I can guarantee you 97% of the art you see is posted by a reposter who did not give credit, and I think you'll just be wasting your time trying to find the original artist because there's just no way to trace it down if they don't already have it included in their description or as a separate link, or there's just no artist to be found at all because it's AI art. And also on Instagram or TikTok, if there is a reposted art, often there will be a few comments that are like, hey, this is so-and-so's art, but on Pinterest, radio silent.
It's so annoying that we're still at the point where repost accounts are still not crediting artists and are just leaving us playing GeoGuessr trying to search for an artist we really like. The only way to search for an artist now is to reverse search their drawing using Google Images, and if they posted that drawing on any social media platform, it will possibly show up in the search and then you can locate the artist from there. Other than that, you're on your own. At this point, it will seem Pinterest is slowly washing away down the drain. Artists are gradually leaving the platform. People are complaining endlessly and multiple TikTok videos are calling them out and asking them to fix their broken platform. Which leads us to the most important question. Are there any alternatives? I found this really good video from Ellie's Nuts where they explored some alternatives for Pinterest that you could use.
Honestly, if you're in any creative field or you're just sick of Pinterest, I got you. The first resource I wanted to share with you guys is called Cosmos. I'd say out of everything I'm going to show you, this is kind of the closest to Pinterest. So you can scroll through images on this discover page, but you can also search stuff. I feel like what you find on here is just a lot more interesting than the first things that show up on Pinterest. The next resource I want to share with you is called public.work. And this is actually created by Cosmos, but it's all public domain images. And you kind of get, I'm just like scrolling around with my mouse, but you kind of get this like borderless scroll in all directions, which is super cool. Another one of my favorite resources for public domain images, that's basically imagery or like online assets. It can even be like audio or books. I don't know, things like that that were created before copyright laws were a thing. So it's literally public domain.
Now, personally, for my art, I find myself drawing mostly from Instagram photos and just searching through Google if I need to find something specific. And sometimes I also use reference packs from graphic studios when I have to study anatomy and draw dynamic poses. I still will use my Pinterest boards from time to time, and I really do hope they improve the platform and reduce, if not get rid of, all the ads and AI art. But for now, best we can all do is pray they listen to the community of users they have so painstakingly built over the years and do right by us, since we stuck with the platform through thick and thin. Well, it looks like you made it to the end of this video. If you enjoyed this video, please leave it a like, share the video with a friend who is so mad about Pinterest as well, and subscribe to the channel if you are new here. With all that being said, I'll see all you pretty penguins in the next video. Bye.